Diego State University.
I've been wanting to do this trip for a while. It's you'd occasionally drive past and I go, that wasn't there, and this isn't there, and that's there, and that's there. There's a lot you can't detail when you're just going down College Avenue at, 30 miles an hour. So, because I have Friday off, I decided I would go ahead and come back here and take a look at what actually has changed. I thought I'd start where it all started. This is Olmeca and Maya. Maya's on the other side of this one. One day in fall, I loaded up my 1986 Isuzu Impulse with a suitcase and a couple things because I have a lot. Drove down from Pomona, parked, and figured out where this place was, where I wanted to do. Remember, this is before GPS or any of that stuff, so getting there from here was a lot more of an adventure when you're 17 and on your own. So this was where you go in the first time and register in there. And behind you, everything that you see I'm facing was a parking lot. That's it. Parking lot. Not building one there, not building none of this. That thing right there, not a building. None of this is here. There's Olmeca, Maya, and Zero should be on the other side. We'll see that in a minute. So, parked there, went in, registered, found my room with a guy named Kevin, I think, which lasted a couple weeks until I switched with somebody else by the name of Alex Garcia. You're down at the end of the hall. I'll show you that room. And first night, I got to meet everybody because at 11:30, somebody pulls the fire alarm, file out into the parking lot, stand there until they clear it, go back in. Repeat that 4 nights in a row. So that's just normal idiots being normal idiots. So, weird. I mean, granted, this was 1990, so 36 years ago. I didn't expect it to be the same. But even then, this kind of changed dramatically. At least that's still there. And the funny thing is, I would show up and park on Saturday or Sunday when I would get home or do something, and not need the car during the week because I lived on campus. So that means that I got the best spot and would move for 5 days, probably driving people insane. That wasn't there, that wasn't there. There is Zero. I'm going to check and make sure I got the name right. At least that's still there. Back in 1990, there was a volcano that exploded someplace in the Pacific, but it threw so much dust into the atmosphere that the sunsets were insane. So me and a couple other guys, Rodney Canary, David Davis, and Eric Letterman went up to the 4th floor when you could see out through the stairs just to look at the sunsets every night. Oh, this is her? What's that? Did they move? Find out how wrong I am in a minute. Tamyocha. Does not ring a bell. And obviously this was not here. This was one giant courtyard. I'm gonna go around. My hope is I'll be able to get the courtyard to show you the window. All right, let me orient myself here. Ah, there we are. Interestingly enough, a lot of this is the same. This stuff is all different. This used to be our frat house. It is long gone. Let's see if that's the... This is the arena. That's where the stadium used to be. Hold on, sorry. You'd walk down here to Storm Hall for breakfast, I think. Which means my old place to live was up here, which means this is here, which means this is where the DU house was. Part. So, where that truck is, is where it was reserved for the guy who ran this particular dorm. And of course people would pull in and unload because it was the closest parking spot you could get. Which means it was a point of contention for a long time. The Jack in the Box has been there for 36 or 40 years. The number of 99-cent Jack Supremes, I forget what they were actually called, that I got on weekends, because what else was I going to get? You can't cook, you can't do it. There. One of the original Rubios was over there. And right there you could almost see the Domino's that had a walk-in special for $4.99, a medium pepperoni pizza, which aside from Jack in the Box is the thing that kept me and a lot of other people fed. Really shouldn't have. Probably. This wavy fence here is not a thing. There was a path that went from here all the way down the middle, and that's how you would get into one of the 3 buildings that you would be staying in. This courtyard would be filled with people playing volleyball. And that's where I didn't know it, but I saw John Kalchik for the first time. Up above there, there's a window you can't see through the trees, because there were no trees when I was here. That was my place, top left corner on this side. Always easy to find, at least if you can see it. 7-Eleven there has always been there for a while. It was fantastic. Even there were 6-7 people in line, you'd still be able to check out in minutes. The guys were just lightning fast on those registers. Didn't matter what you had or how much you threw down there. Done. But I want you to imagine that everything across the street, the buildings, the Trader Joe's, that Broken Hill, not there. I go back in my memories, I can't tell you what was across the street. I can't pull up that memory. I don't think there was anything memorable there to see. A couple of small buildings maybe, at the gas station on the corner. Don't remember. Starbucks Coffee, when we first got here, was a retail clothing place. And then that went out of business. And then it was a copy center, which you think would do well this close to students. Nah, that went under too. I have no idea how long that Starbucks has been there, but who knows. The UPS store there was Aztec Arcade. This was prime Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, that kind of stuff those days. Sure, it was only a couple bucks, but after a long day, there's some steam to blow off, nothing else to do. Remember, this is before personal computers, this is before PlayStations, this is before all that stuff. You got what you could get.
I was like, wow.
There's that Domino's. Still there. And if I wasn't currently avoiding all food altogether, I'd go in there and get a medium pepperoni pizza. The bridge was here, but in a completely different form. It's more of a walkway. A solid cement structure that went across from there to there. That did the job. I don't see why this is necessary, but this Aztec Student Union wasn't here, or it was here in a much smaller form. And of course the trolley wasn't here. The trolley didn't exist then. I don't know that we would have used it, but it would have been neat. This was the closest cafe, but you could get food, but it was basically just sandwiches. It was deli for the most part. This is where we would pick up. There used to be a magazine back in the day called Computer Edge that I'll throw a picture of right here of. That is where you'd get all your prices on computer parts every week. I actually managed to get a few things published in it, much to my surprise.
Right here again. Yeah. It's really good.
That building was there. That's where I took psychology. The open air theater has been revamped, but it has been there the whole time. This was not here. This used to be flat. This whole 3-story thing was, I think, just a patio. And the building straight ahead of me did not exist. Just a lawn. Hopefully I have some pictures I can put up of that. But Manchester Hall, I think that is right there, was a lawn. That's all it was a lawn. That building was the administration building. That was still there. I even had a couple of classes in that one. Walter at one point. I've been in there a lot. Yeah. That'll be the bookstore. And then I want to see what the food situation is. But yeah, imagine that's just a grassy mound. And now it's just another building.
That's nice.
This would have been grass too? So this is and is not the library, and is also more library at the same time. The big square building in the back, that was the library when we were here. This was more lawn. All this was just lawn all the way down to here. And I think they did this in early 2000s. This is a 4-story underground library, I think. I don't feel well, I could go in there. Take a look around. The Love Library. Because the named after some dude that wrote love, not because everybody that love each other. That's not a requirement. I do love that whatever those buildings are, they look like trailers, are still there. 40, 50, 60 years later, and it still looks like there's a couple trailers on campus.
No.
Huh?
So why were you hiding?
East Commons, West Commons. The Commons, that's what they were called. They were called Commons. That was where you could get sort of a grill. Quesadillas, burgers, hot dogs, that kind of thing. But this pavilion was the buffet. That's where we would all come and grab whatever they had up that night and eat so many more carbs than we should have eaten. Yeah, it's not a buffet anymore. I know what happened to the rest of it. The administration building. This is where like the chancellor and all them people all were. I don't think I had an official reason to ever go in here, which I guess is good because you only go in there if there's a problem. I guess they're not there. So here's the fun story about this little area. Before computers, before even calling in, the first year I was here, to get a class, they would give you a time slot. And you'd come down, and there'd be bullet paths set up, people would be gathering, and a couple hundred people in this courtyard. And you would wait. And you would go into that Party Memorial Tower room there, and you would have your list of classes ready, written down, that you hoped that you would get, along with backups. And you sit there, and the guy would punch into the terminal what you put in, and he goes, nope. Next. Nope. Next. So that's how you end up with 3 o'clock, or 3-hour classes on a Thursday night from 5 to 8. That was it. The next year, they put in phone numbers, where at least you didn't have to call in. You could dial and be told that your class wasn't available, that you'd have to come back later. Then you'd have to take a class at Friday from 5 to 9:30. You know, I think it's probably better with computers now. So this courtyard was a site of a lot of pain and anguish for a lot of people. Well, it's not East Commons, it's the Ellen Ochoa Pavilion, which I'd have to go back and look at the video. I think I saw before. They named something else that, too? I sincerely doubt it's open, but I want to say that building was there. The one down at the end is chemistry, where I got 995 points out of 2,000, with 1,000 being necessary for the B. That would let me not have to take the class again. Yeah, I'm not bitter. What is this going to be? I'm going to guess nothing. Or closed. Offices. My dreams of getting pancakes are once again dashed on the rocks of reality and time. I'll just have to live with it. So pulling up 35-year-old files, this was the bowl. Up, there it is. I'm half right. Those are the steps, and that used to be the stadium. I walked up and down those steps every single day to get my apartment, which was over there. God, they've locked so much of this off. The free roaming access we used to have, not a thing anymore. So I'm going to guess that since the Aztec Bowl holds a lot of events, this was put up at the same time for it, because this also used to just be a field or nothing. God, if that's the bowl, what was there? I can't remember. Sorry, the video is so weird. Last time I was here was when Cheyenne's graduation from high school. Oh, look, I can still go up the stairs. Want to do it and see how in shape I am compared to when I was 16, 17? What would I be? I would have been 19 or 20 at that point. The answer is I'm not 17 anymore. 19, 20, whatever. I just know for a fact I wasn't 20. When I first got the apartment over there, had to go down and up every single day. And walk basically for 8 hours. I was ruined, just like now. First couple times I did it. The funny thing is, over a year, the improvement was so gradual that it didn't even occur to me that by the end, I was simply gliding up these stairs without any problem. Was I in fantastic shape? No. But I had no idea how much it was improving, which was kind of nice. There's a pool over there in that athletic center where, as part of the fraternity week, whatever we had to do, the presidents had to put on a show, and our president, Mr. Walter Ruskin, decided that he was going to put on a Speedo, a leopard Speedo, of course, take my pet turtle, dance on top of the diving board, yank off the Speedo, and then jump in the pool with the turtle. If I gave even a tiny bit of care about the turtle, I would have said chlorine probably not good for it, but I didn't, so I didn't. So, if I had to judge based on context clues and the fact that we were at the top of the bowl, I'm going to say that this red building right here was the DU house. Now, it was torn down in '95. There's not going to be any sign of it. But yep, this is where I lived compared to campus. Not bad. Made it really, really easy. For, I think I share... It's hard to remember, but I think my share of the rent was like 200 something. I got my own little room. A lot better than the dorm. That's a pretty good full lap around the main campus. Did I go over everything I remember? No. I mean, like, I sat in the lawn here and heard one of Boingo Boingo's last concerts in the open air theater. I ran a lap here once. Decided running was not for me. A lesson I kept mistaking over time. Didn't go into the libraries. I saw a lot of tours. I think it's not weird that people walk around, but it becomes painfully obvious how old you are when you see the incoming class and think, are you old enough to drive yet? Probably not. So, am I glad I did this? Yes. Fantastic way to spend a day walking around. Hopefully share this with a few people that I went to school with and they can go, oh my god, I can't believe all this. Some stayed the same. Surprisingly, much change. A lot less change over 40 years than you think it would. But and if you've ever seen the logo for San Diego State, ta-da! So, this has not changed at all. Not even a little bit. 36 years ago, this view would have looked pretty much exactly like this. So, as much as some things change, some things do stay the same. Still a ton more memories, a ton more stories, a lot of things. Like down that road where the trucks were coming up was East Commons. My goal the entire first year I was here was to make it down there for breakfast. Just once. Problem is that meant that you would have to get up by 11. I could not do it. I could not do it. I had to set my alarm for 11 or 1 o'clock classes in the afternoon. Now I wake up at 4. Things change a little bit. I'm curious, is it still there? Nah, I know it's not there. East Commons is not there now.